Welcome, everyone, to the Deviant Racing Podcast. I am clearly not with Mercury today. He is crying like a little baby, and he's not feeling well. I probably shouldn't say all that because he was pretty supportive of me while I was out, but nonetheless, here we are. I'm not alone, though. I'm not alone. I am joined by someone who is going to remain anonymous at the moment, because once again, I got everything else ready for today, except for all the details that go along with who we have. So we're just going to muddle through it. We're not going to talk about anything else yet until I find all of this details. So this is what happens when Mercury doesn't join me. Things fall apart. We get all over the place, and there's nothing else that we can say or do about it. But I'll give you some hints. So this driver has been with us for a good amount of time. This driver has raced in GT4. This driver's raced in Sunday Cup. This driver is representing Team Ford. Any little secrets going on there? This person has been with us since July of 2023. So we're coming up on our anniversary. Oh, that's going to be cute. So please welcome our man, Preston, to the show.
Hey guys.
What is up, sir?
Not much, man. Just happy to be on the podcast. What
Thank
an
you.
honor to be a guest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much honor you can actually get out of it, but I mean, we have fun with it. You know, we get like 4 views. It's all good. So yeah, no, appreciate it. It's nice to meet you mano a mano for once, and instead of on the PSN chat and in our Discord and everything else that goes along with that. So
I recognize the voice, but it's nice to see it to match a face to the voice now.
Yeah, and your beard is, dude, exceptional. Like,
it's work in progress. Yeah.
No, it's legit, man. It's legit. Like, one, my wife would hate it, but two, work won't allow it. There's a rule, not a rule, it's in the handbook. Like, it used to be an inch below your chin. And I got that amended to 3 inches past your chin, but still, I admire your luscious, extravagant beard there.
It's just gotten to the point where when I get into these cars to drive them to get fuel, put the seatbelt on, and I just start throwing my head a little bit to get the beard untucked.
Oh, that's good stuff, man. I'm sure you're leaving behind some remnants.
Oh, I try to do my best not to.
Yeah,
but I'm sure there's like
it.
hidden gems there every once in a while.
Yeah, nope, I get it. I mean, it is what it is. So welcome, sir. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks for standing in for our boy Merc while he's under the weather, but it's all good. So as usual, what are we drinking tonight?
So tonight I've got a good old PBR.
Oh, that's amazing.
Besides wanting to get picked on, there is a reason for it. PBR is actually my first beer, and I figured first time on the podcast, so might as well.
Hell yeah.
Go for a little bit.
I mean, you may not want to answer this. How old were you when you had your first PBR?
I believe I was 18, 19.
Okay.
So first beer is like an adult that I can remember. I mean, I know I drank some beer as a teen, allegedly. Allegedly. But I was too young to remember what it was at that point. Alcohol was alcohol. Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes, understood. Well, props to the PBR. Like, I did not see that coming at all. That's a clutch. Just, I mean, it's a epic beer. Everyone knows of it. As a matter of fact, where was I? In Myrtle Beach, there's so many different places. You could get PBRs for like 75 cents, $1.25.
Yeah.
Well, I did not go as low as you did. No offense. I went with Foothills Brewing Sexual Chocolate. Nice little imperial stout. Yeah.
So we're on the opposite sides of the spectrum today.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's about as far. You've got me on the beard. I got you on the beer.
I don't even have it in a glass bottle tonight. Just
I
drinking straight bread from a can.
I don't know if it would pour into a glass anyway. Nor should you when it comes to PBR. So yeah, no, I get that, man. So, well, listen, again, nice to have you. So tell us just a little bit about yourself. Like, you don't have to tell me exactly your street address or
All right.
all that stuff, but just the highlights.
Born and raised West Michigan.
Yeah.
Spent some time in the military in California. Worked in New York for a little bit. It's kind of like my professional life. Um, the more interesting thing, racing. Started my racing career, I'd call it, when I started to get serious about it and actually Grand Theft Auto 5.
Mm-hmm.
Got sick of all the rammers and all the crazy crap going on.
Yeah.
Joined Forza 7. Wanted to learn how to drive in manual.
Yeah.
Found Super GT with a nice little guide on how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Started watching some Super GT. He started
Mm-hmm.
playing Gran Turismo. I kind of just followed suit. And ever since then, it's just been love.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, that's a good little stretch there. What were you doing in New York? What part of New York?
I was in near Malta, New York,
Okay,
around
I'm not
about like
familiar.
maybe half hour away from Saratoga, so
Okay.
upstate New York.
Oh, way upstate.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, way upstate.
Yeah.
I was working at a semiconductor manufacturer fabrication plant.
Okay.
I did what was called TEM prep. So it's really difficult and boring to explain, but the basis of it is I got to play with an electron microscope. So for
Nice.
12 hours a night and got to see microscopic things.
That's interesting. Cool.
Yeah,
Hmm.
a
And
lot
then
of
you
fun.
said military in California? Is that what you said?
Yeah, yep. I did Marine Corps for 4 years out there.
Really? Nice. Well,
Yeah,
appreciate your service. Did you ever get deployed or anything like that? Just still
no,
stateside?
I stayed stateside.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. What age did you go in?
18.
Yeah, fresh out of high school, huh?
Yeah, I didn't want to go to college and was like,
No.
well, the military seems an option.
Yeah. Heck
You know,
yeah.
when they were doing those college letters on the wall for your senior year,
Oh yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, I don't want to go to college, but I
Mm-hmm.
want one of those letters.
Yeah.
And the Marine Corps is handing them out, so
Yeah.
might as well.
Yeah. No, nothing wrong with that, man. My brother did the same thing. He just got suckered in for the whole 20. So uh
Ooh,
yeah, I mean he retired though. Navy.
that's something that if I could have told younger me,
Yeah.
I definitely would have stayed in.
Yeah.
I could look at retiring in 6 years
Yeah.
instead of 30.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. My brother came across a couple different, it's ups and downs, just like any career or life. And he came to a couple points where he was like, I'm done. I'm tired of being in the military. I'm tired of being told what I can do, where I got to go and everything like that. And I was like, look, man, like everything you have, I get it. I get the sacrifice that you're making.
mhm,
But we struggle for housing. We struggle for insurance. We
mhm.
don't get retirement. Like it's all those things you are getting, and you're more than halfway there. So I was proud of him for sticking it out. So good. I mean, hey, glad to have another vet on the crew. We've got a couple of them already in our Discord. So I mean,
Yeah,
just another old pin in the hat. So appreciate your service on that, and that's good stuff, man. So
thank you.
um so we're just gonna jump right into it. We're gonna
Okay.
knock out the interview first, and then we'll jump into how this weekend went. But just like we ask everybody on our little interviews is what do you drive in real life?
So we used to drive a Ford Focus, and
Okay.
that's why I ran the Focus in the past Sunday Cup. We
Okay.
just wanted to represent real life.
Yeah.
But recently we bought ourselves a 21 Equinox. So now
Nice.
we're representing that Chevy brand.
Yeah. Hey, nothing wrong with that at all.
Definitely an upgrade. I really enjoy the heated seats.
Dude, I mean, those things are amazing. Air conditioned seats are amazing, especially where, me and Merc are in the South. So
Mhm.
having that is crucial. But yeah, those small little upgrades that you were like, nah, I don't need that. I don't need that stuff. When you first experience it, you're like, oh, this is amazing. And you being up in Michigan, heat,
Mhm.
yeah, like that's
And the remote start too. Oh yeah,
oh, dude,
I
yeah.
it's a world of difference. Worth the paperwork, worth
Uh-huh.
the all the stress getting there. Just
Yeah.
happy to be there now.
No, that's awesome. So you follow any sports teams up in Michigan?
I'll always root for the home teams, Detroit Lions,
Yeah.
Tigers, Pistons, Red
Okay.
Wings. I don't follow them religiously anymore, I'd
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
because when I did, it led to a lot of heartache. We had some good years for the Wings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lions have gotten close, but it just
Yeah.
starts to hurt, and it feels like it's personal, even though it's not. So I kind
Yeah.
of just step back from those sports, but I still like to watch the scores and keep up on them. You know, when the
Yeah.
Lions they get close this past year,
Mm-hmm.
still rooting for them, still supporting them, just
Yeah.
maybe not as closely.
Yeah. No, I understand that. Slug, who kind of is on sabbatical right now. Most everyone knows he's a diehard Lions fan, and he is. Um,
Really?
yeah, he's diehard Lions fan. There was years ago, it was probably like 12 years ago, they went undefeated in preseason. And he's like, this is our year, like undefeated in preseason. And me and Silo and a couple other guys just had this big argument on how important preseason really is. And we were all like, dude, it's beneficial, but it's like foreshadowing the rest of your season at all. So
Yeah.
they went undefeated in preseason and that was the year they went 0-16. And I found him a t-shirt from some radio station up in Detroit, and it said undefeated real big across the chest, and then it said preseason real small underneath it. 0-16 on the back with every loss, and it said rebuilding since 1952. And he was like, damn, dude, this t-shirt hurts, but I gotta wear it because it's just my life. So I
I remember that season. It
yeah,
it hurt that year, man. But
yeah,
now it's just a joke.
yeah, it is just a joke. So no, good stuff, man. So your racing setup. We always talk about everyone's racing setup
Yeah.
or like what they're using, obviously. So tell us about what you're currently using, and then we'll talk about the rest here in a moment.
What I'm currently using is the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller.
Whoa.
I'll swap between the Galaxy Purple or the white,
What?
just depending on the mood that day. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Galaxy Purple has a drifting right stick right now. So if I do that when I have to disable the camera, so I can't look left and right, but I
Yeah.
got the front and back and the radar. So that's all I
Yeah.
need.
That's all you need. So you and I had a conversation about camera views. Are you still
Yeah.
on the bumper or are you back on the hood again?
I switched to the bumper.
Yeah. You
I
committed.
Yeah, I found that in changing, I definitely saw more benefits in the
Mm-hmm.
bumper. I liked that you know where the wheels are at, and I like that
Mm-hmm.
there's a consistency across all vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you're driving, you can rely on the same HUD.
Yeah.
Whereas the hood cam, I mean, oh man, when you're testing a bunch of different cars before the season, you're kind of making small mental notes like, I really don't want to be looking at that hood view this whole time,
Yeah.
for the next 8 races.
Like the Volkswagen.
Or the Atenza. That was pretty rough, man.
That was, I can't believe you instead of the Mazda 3. Oh,
Mm,
what a
there were
oops.
valid reasons for the choice. I think we've gone over those in the past.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so for everyone else, Preston and I
Mhm.
were talking on Discord and he had asked kind of just camera angles and stuff. And so I kind of just told him the benefits from my perspective and more so with defending. So good to see you. And you jumped into it in Grand Valley, which is a hell of a
Yeah.
track to really jump into that camera angle. And then this one as well. So you finding it, you're starting to pick it up a little bit, or you still think you've got some room for improvement and just working from that camera angle?
I mean, the smart answer is to say there's always room for improvement,
No, that's
right?
true. That's true.
But I'm feeling stable right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, Despite the finishing position at Dragon Trail,
Yeah.
it still felt like a solid race. I felt in control of the car,
Yeah.
and with other cars around me. Um, in the bumper cam, you get that shadow on the left and right.
Yep.
There's
Mm-hmm.
cars real close. I found it still able to drive confidently in a pack
Mm-hmm.
with the bumper cam.
Nice.
I can't go back to hood cam now,
I
even just for the engine noises too. Like it sounds
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
So
It put a new whole perspective on the Death Chicane, didn't it?
oh, absolutely. Yes. But it almost helped it get down to a science
Uh-huh.
easier. I could have, say, my radar on and know that I need to put my radar in this part of the track,
Mm-hmm.
otherwise I'm gonna die or I'm gonna jump off the
You know
the
what?
curb.
Like, so explain that to me. So you're lining up while you're driving. You
Mhm.
are also looking at the radar and making sure that your car is in the right spot.
Well, I'm using the radar as a whole. So you know how the radar's
Mhm.
got the light gray
Yeah.
background to for the whole track? I'm using that as like a this is the center of my car. I want to place this strip of radar,
Mm-hmm.
and I can say it now for Dragon Trail, right in the armpit of that curb. So I
Mm-hmm.
need to have that right on the left side of the pink there, beyond the curb, and I'll make it through perfectly every time.
Interesting.
But an inch to the right, you're done.
Yeah. Interesting. No, I've never used it as a resource like that. It's always just been, awareness, not so much driving. I wonder if,
It felt necessary this time around going into Dragon Trail
yeah,
just because of how important that Death Chicane seemed. I didn't even try it full throttle once in the race. There was no point in doing it.
no,
I
I,
think
I
I
agree.
hit the wall once,
Yeah,
and that was just a lack of focus. I just like lapsed for a moment, forgot what I
yeah.
was doing, bumped the wall, keep going, hope for the best.
Uh, so during the race, obviously Cam was doing the recording for GR3, which again is doing phenomenal. He put a ton
Mhm.
of focus on the Death Chicane. I don't know if you saw that or not, but he
I
kept
did.
backing up just to make sure he saw everyone who went through there, whether they got through safely or not. So, and then we also, and you don't even know this yet either. I'll tell you after. But we have a surprise coming out of the the race from this weekend. So
Okay.
nice little update, if you will, that Cam
Okay.
is working on. So I'll include you just because you're taking your time tonight, but we'll surprise everyone with that this week, hopefully, and get that out so everyone can see that. But
Feel like
it's
I
gonna
might
be
have a guess as to what it is, but I'll just wait for you to tell me.
it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. So so you're on the controller.
Mhm.
I think we all saw the photo. I think one day, I think Dirksey started or something like that. Like, hey, show us where you are, and you had your feet kicked up and your remote sitting right there.
Oh, hang on, lost my audio.
Yep.
That's awkward. What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can I just hope you're not feeding back into the mic? Can you hear
Mm-mm.
yourself? Are we good?
No, yeah, we're good.
All right, then we'll just keep it carrying on like this.
Yeah. Eh,
I don't know what happened, but whatever.
hey.
As long as I'm not feeding
It was,
back into your speakers, then I'm happy with it.
yep. No, we're good, man.
Okay.
So you talked about you're on the controller. We saw you with your feet kicked up in one of the photos from one of the races a few weeks back, but you said you're kind of trying haphazardly to build a rig too. Explain that.
So I want to back up first about that picture. How
Oh,
that started was I actually sent that picture first. I
okay.
led with that because none of them believed me that I was on controller.
Right.
They were all challenging, no way you're on controller. Because they asked me, I said, oh, I'm controller. I said, well, don't take this as a boast, but here's my exact setup for the race today, and drop that picture on them. Yeah, the the Frankenstein rig.
Yeah.
So I don't have a big budget to drop on a nice rig, or
Hmm.
however you want to say it. So I just started trying to search on Facebook Marketplace for different pieces. I'd find the stand, I'd find the chair,
Hmm.
and I just started taking these pieces and pulling them apart on my own free will and trying to put them back together to make a rig suitable for me. Right now it's a little cramped and I don't fit, so I'm
Yep.
not really using my wheel. And apartment living as it is, there's not really room or a table or desk to set up to
Yeah.
put my wheel on to race consistently because I race off the big TV in the house.
Yeah.
So
Okay. No, it makes sense. And Floody has proven you could really throw a steering wheel almost anywhere with sitting on
mhm.
almost anything. Just a matter of how much you want to commit to it. But I can relate coming from the controller. That's where I came from. Obviously most of us came from there. Zen for the longest time, but
Oh yeah.
you can, if you can have good throttle control, you can make it work. Anatol's doing well. You're clearly doing well with it. I did well our first and second season. I was on the control the whole time. So,
You
um,
brought up Floody, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I think I know the picture you're talking about was him with his wheel on desk and about a stack of cardboard like that
Yeah.
underneath it. And that was the photo that was like, all right, I'm just coming up with excuses. And that's when I started breaking down different pieces and
Yeah.
trying to slam them together. And
Yeah.
Floody was the inspiration for that. It feels like there's no excuses if this man's racing on cardboard.
I mean, yeah, his setup is unique, and the fact that he can still execute like he's doing with similar setups, like
And
it's
I think he used that for the previous Group 4 season when he
Mhm.
dominated,
Yeah.
which is just
Hmm.
nice, Floody.
Yeah,
Nice.
no,
That's real
100%.
good.
100%. And I mean, to his credit, he's put the time in. So, and we've talked
Yes.
about it multiple different times, but yeah, he definitely deserved it. And then he's showing up to GR3 and freaking taking second place and third place. Like, yeah.
Doing a real good job.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. So, and what wheel did you have? I don't know if you said that or not.
I had the T150, or
Okay.
not had, I have the
Yeah.
T150.
All right.
It's a
Soon.
good wheel. I
Yeah.
like it.
Soon we'll get you in it. But there's one advantage that you have that most of us don't have, and you can explain is you have a little bit of a pit crew.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily race my races solo. Now I'm the one driving the whole time,
Yeah.
but I have who I like to call my crew chief by my side the whole time. It is in fact my dear girlfriend Danny. I think when I did a face reveal before, it was us standing together.
Yeah.
And so during the race, I've had a couple of races this season where I started on the wrong tire type or mess up the strat. And Danny decided, hey, I'm willing to step in. If you want me to look at the strat, read it to you, check on it for you, I'm more than willing to do that.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's just been that way, I think, for the past 4 or 5 races now that she's helped out.
Yeah.
So I start referring to her as my crew chief, and I couldn't be more thankful for it, I gotta say.
Well, cheers to her because she's doing what most of us would lovely appreciate. Yeah, my wife will not sit there and go through that. I'll tell you that. So
I say dear girlfriend, but with the commitment she shows to my races, I might as well just say future wife.
yeah, there you
I
go.
mean, but that puts a lot of pressure on a lot of things. So.
Yeah, a little bit. We can edit some of this out if you want. You just let me know.
We'll leave it. I dug my hole. I'll stand in it.
Yeah, there you go. That'll work. All right. So keeping on with the same task, what's your favorite track and your least favorite track out of GT7, obviously?
Oh, and this is one that you told me to prepare for.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to nail them down. I'd say my favorite track would be Watkins Glen
Okay.
long course.
That's a good track.
It honestly was a tie between Spa, Nürburgring, and Watkins Glen. But I got to give it to Watkins Glen because that's where I started to first find a love for road courses, like in
Mm-hmm.
childhood. You'd be that little 8-year-old playing on, NASCAR 2000, and I just want to do lefts and crash into people, and you're like, what's this road course? And
Right.
well, that was the one. So,
Heck yeah. That's a cool story. What's your least favorite track?
least favorite, Grand Valley. Just gonna leave it like that. Grand Valley or Brazil. I can't stand those two tracks for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know. I think Brazil for me is just that main straight turn one, something about it. I just can't get it right. All the twisting, forget about it.
Yeah, and turn one coming off that straight is weird because and most tracks when you're coming in at that speed,
Hmm.
you're braking at the 100, 125, 150. That track you can get down to in some cars almost 75 out, and it's you come in quick, but I mean it slows down well, but it's a technical track
Hmm.
for sure. Grand Valley, I'm with you. I don't know if I'll say it's the worst one for me.
Okay.
Maybe I think like a topless and like Major, for some reason. But
Wait, with the big banky boy?
which one?
You're saying Major?
Yeah,
Major?
the long one though.
Maggie?
Yeah, the Maggior. The long one.
Oh,
I
I
don't know.
really like that track.
Yeah, Glovis loves that track too. I think that's Glovis's only win in
Really?
T3. Yeah,
Okay.
in the what was he in? He was in the Alfa Romeo. That was a fun season.
He loves that Alfa Romeo, and not like the mainstream Group 3, Group 4. No, the one you buy in the legendary dealer.
Yeah.
That's his baby, we'll put it.
That's his thing. So, all right. Well, those are good track choices. So for our final question, and I know everyone knows where we're going with this, I'm very interested to hear what you're going to say. Who, without penalty, no incident reports, no nothing like that, who would you
Yeah.
punt off without consequence?
You know, and I knew this one was going to come, and I've had a lot of different ideas. Not gonna lie, you know, trying to be a smart ass, trying to be
So
this
many
way, that way.
targets.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, I'm gonna go with the competitive spirit and say Cam Zilla or Dirksey. Just
Bye.
punt them right off. Yep, there goes your fastest lap. Let me know when you've got two purple sectors, and then the third, we'll dump you on the gravel. Lord
Nice.
Atlanta's coming. No.
Yep. That's awesome. Oh, it's awesome. I mean, that kind of happened to Cam anyway in turn 1 of GT4. He
Yeah,
slipped
I
back a little.
rewatched that replay, and it wasn't any fault of his own. It was several cars colliding and then him just being a victim of it. But still comes back from all the way back there to win it out. Oh, he's so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely is. He does well with that. So that was crazy. So well, I mean, we're on GT4. So let's just stick with GT4 for now. We'll do
Okay.
this backwards and we'll jump into GT3 in a little bit. But so how did the race go for you overall?
Overall, it felt like a pretty solid race. It had two big mistakes. Started in second, finished in fourth. It's that PBR kicking up. It'll do it.
It's because you just have to shotgun it. That's the problem. You're actually drinking it and tasting it for the first time ever in your life. You just had to shotgun it.
No, I think I'm good with that. I'll just keep taking my drinks.
Okay.
With the Group 4 race, it went well. I think there was a little slip in strategy on our part. Because I know we'll talk about that just right off the bat. Because I think it played a big part on Sunday in the result we got. We went hard, soft, hard, and the idea was to get off the hard tire earlier and then make up for the difference with two soft stints because it is the fastest stint. But the problem is that works great in testing. It doesn't work well in a real race scenario. And it doesn't work well in traffic either. So hindsight really had some changes. But it is what it is. I'm happy to finish fourth. I did my own calculations right after the race, and I think I've still got third. I haven't seen the standings just yet. So, but good race overall.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely good, and it's so weird how that all works out. And you guys remind me what safety car lap you guys had?
Safety car was 22.
Yeah, so it was late altogether. Ours was early. We had a 13 for ours.
Yeah, that would have been beautiful.
Yeah, it was kind of nice, but is the Ford good with tire wear, or is it kind of middle of the road, or?
I'd say it's leaning middle of the road to just bad. Softs on Dragon Trail were getting 5 laps before the left front was blown.
Yeah, that's rough.
And that's about halfway through the 5th lap. Your left front is gone.
Yeah.
So it's about trying to figure out how to drive to try and either get the tires to last longer or hoping for the right weather conditions.
Yeah.
But you just kind of got to do what you got to do with what you have.
Yeah, the required soft really made this track difficult as far as strategy wise. Me and Chaotica really struggled with putting a strategy together for this one, and ultimately we both separated and went our own ways with our strategy. Both of them worked out well, but same thing. Like it was difficult to figure out if it's going to be beneficial for a 3-stop or just a 2-stop. That soft stint that was just crucial to kind of just pushing you towards that 3-stop race because there was no other way around it.
Now, what decides that required tire? Is that just you guys saying, "Hey, you guys got to run softs the rest of the season"?
No, so when we set up, yeah, no, it's a good question. When we set up the track list, right? This season, in most seasons, we randomly pick what order the track list is going to go in. This season, the admins picked 2 tracks each, or was it 1 track each? I don't know, something like that. And then the last 2 you guys chose, which was Red Bull and Road Atlanta.
Okay.
Once we had the track list, then we go in and I do the randomizer for hard tire or soft tire for each track. So it's just the wheel of death, and it's got hard.
Okay.
That was it. We don't use medium because medium, if we went medium as a required tire, everyone would just run medium the whole race, and there'd be no real thought put into it at all. It's just like, oh, I'm just going to run mediums the whole time. And that's what everyone did for the most part when we did not have a required tire.
Okay.
Yeah, our first 2 seasons, we didn't have required tire. And then we added required tire as just another little step up for the strategy. So, but that's
So
how
it was
we
just
decided.
straight fate then.
Yeah,
Just a
yeah,
flip of
no,
the coin and
yeah, we don't. I would love to be just a jerk about it and be like, this track is going to suck on soft, knowing it's only going to get 3 laps out of it. But no, it was all random, and it was so weird. You know, we're running 8 races this season. It's the longest season, as Merck says. Cheers, Merck. But yeah, it went required tire was hard for the first 2, and then the last 6 are all soft, and it was all random. So
yeah. No, it's making it tough for the Mustang, but I may just have to pull another Sardinia here coming up in the next couple races.
yeah,
Going 13 laps on soft tires and just trying not to die the whole time. I mean, it was an honest mistake. It was supposed to put on hard tires at the beginning of the race. I have softs on.
yeah.
I knew I could do worn softs on that track, and it was just a matter of not letting that doubt get in your head that you can't do it, and instead just staying committed and confident.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. It is a good point. So, I mean, it seemed like your race, we had some snafus here and again. Obviously, the beginning, we saw, where we were talking about where Cam got bumped out. I think after the safety car restart, there was a little bit of some bumping going on.
Yeah.
Before you got to the big S's. But overall, I mean, happy with your finish and everything?
Yeah, I am. I think, like you said, a couple of snafus and the restarts and beginnings. But overall, outside of that, it was a clean race. There was a lot of individual incidents. It was tricky trying to go through the Death Chicane, having someone mess up in front of you and being like, "Please, I don't want to murder you and me." Like, I gotta give a small shout out to Anatole. Sorry for shoving you into the barrier. Was trying to dodge you, but just one of the times through, he was there, and it happens.
Yeah, yeah. I trusted in my neighbor, if you will. Like, I went through a couple of those right on someone's bumper. I know Boost for a little bit of it. I think it was Floody maybe for one of them as well. And I just trusted him. I was like, hopefully they don't screw up, because I can't. And I know you've realized this now, you get a good perspective when you're behind someone riding on the hood. But when you're on the bumper behind someone, your perception is pretty jacked up.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I just trusted in their bumper, and I was like, all right, I just got to stay right here. And hopefully they don't screw up and it ruins all of us. So thankfully, it didn't, no demise whatsoever. So do you have some good passes or good racing? Who'd you race with for most of the race?
I'd say my biggest competitor that on Sunday was between Jar and Hyphy Honda. Jar was catching me at the end. One more lap, he would have had me. He reeled in a 7-second gap on like the last 3 or 4 laps. We had a cool moment. I like to think that I caused it, but going right in there into turn 4 after you turn 2 and we go along the hurricane. I tried to fake him out the front side down to the left-hand side, switch to the left, hit him on the inside. What I wanted to happen was the sand. Feel bad a little bit. And just keep on going.
I mean, as long as you don't make physical contact to push them in that route, I mean, and that's where, again, as you are starting to get more precise. I mean, you know, we saw you during Sunday Cup and some of our other races where you were kind of just lingering in the back, but then
Yeah.
something clicked in you when you won your first Sunday Cup race. And then after that, it's like you got the bug. It's like what happened to Floody. Like he got a few races under his belt that was really competitive and paying off. And it's like, ooh, I really like how this feels. I like beating my opponents in that manner. Like, you know, sometimes you just put pressure on somebody and they just collapse or overshoot a turn. And it's like, that's what we're there for, you know? So it's addicting.
I think that moment for me was when I first came into the league, watching Zen be as fast as he was and hearing he was a controller player and seeing him in Sunday Cup was just like, whoa, look
Yeah.
at this guy. Like, I want to catch up to him. Like, that's what a controller player can do, you know?
Yeah.
And the Corvette race we had in one of the Sunday Cup seasons, being able to just race him and hold pace with him and know that I was a threat. I lost to him in the end. I think I finished second that day.
Yeah.
But it felt like a close race. I think that was my first pole ever in the league. And it just, it was that rush of adrenaline of just like, I did that. Like the hard work paid off. I'm here. So
yeah, it's so good. It's so freaking just addicting. And I mean, we've been going at it for 2 years now. So, and I mean, I still get butterflies. And even this past Sunday, I was more anxious this Sunday than the previous Sunday for some reason. I don't know why.
really,
But it was just like I could not get my nerves to settle down a little bit. I'm like, what is going on here? So
was it that impending death chicane?
probably was. It probably
Now, do you remember who picked it? You said that each of the admins got to pick a track. I mean, are you going to spill the tea here on who picked Grand Valley and who picked Dragon Trail?
Yeah, I don't remember. I think so. What inevitably we ended up doing now, thinking back to it, is we grouped all the tracks that we had not ran and some of the ones we had not ran for a while, and then we grouped them by their BOP. So you had the lower, mid, and the high BOP. So we grouped them that way. And then collectively, we were like, all right, let's look at the low BOP. Which tracks do we want to pick two? Let's go medium, pick two. I don't remember what this one was. Someone will correct me. But it was collective, honestly, because we have never run it before. It's a competitive track. It's a fun track, and there's a lot of chaos. So that's really what it came down to. It was just collective amongst, you know, the four of us choosing it, because some of them we've ran, you know, quite a few different times. Daytona slipped its way back in there again because it's the beginning of the year. Merck is just Merck with Daytona. So that's all I'll say on that.
I mean, I'll agree with you. It is a competitive track. Overall, it was a really good, I think I keep saying that's really good race experience. The track is so wide. There's so many different options for lines that you really got to be on your guard the whole time and actively racing it.
Yeah, for sure. Who do you find yourself typically racing against? I mean, is it usually who's like your direct competition? I know everyone's striving for the first place. Do you find yourself racing more so with Cam, or is it with Dirksey or Jar?
This season so far, I feel like it's more Cam. It's definitely Cam and Dirksey. I'd say the groups are probably tight. Nürburgring, just barely fighting Dirksey off. Keeping him behind. I mean, it was all the way down to the last chicane fighting for that position. And then Sardinia, I believe that was fighting Cam off. And since then, Cam has just come alive. And he's been unstoppable. But yeah, definitely racing against Cam and Dirksey the most. Jar is not someone to take lightly. I know he's right there. He's nipping at the heel. He's ready to go. So yeah, I'd say those three the most. I mean, you know, got to give a shout out to Hyphy as well. He's definitely been there.
Yeah, no, he definitely has. But you personally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 podiums out of 6, right? No, you've got 1, 2, 3 out of 6 right now. So 2 first place, a second place, 2 fourth place, and a 5th place. Still fantastic showing. Fantastic.
Yeah, overall, I think it's got me in 3rd. I'll take that.
Yeah,
it's me in the promotion race.
Did anything surprise you from the race?
From the Dragon Trail?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I want to say yes, but not really. No. I think maybe just the pitting strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought more people might have gone conservative like we did for the Death Chicane, but finding out that Cam ran from safety car to the end of the race on softs, just whoo. Have fun, buddy.
Yeah, right.
That's something else.
Yeah.
So that I'd say
Especially in
that's what
that
I found
car.
surprising the most. Yeah.
Because the front tires go so quick on that car.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. Because he's got that's front engine, front wheel drive, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So what was your strategy for this race?
Hard, soft, hard.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. We went for the
Right.
3-stopper.
Okay.
We didn't have any stops after the safety car.
Okay.
Learned that lesson at Deep Forest. Deep Forest was I'm not gonna lie, that was a little bit of a rough one.
Yeah.
Losing that one to strategy, but learn from it, keep going. But yeah, we had no pit stops after the safety car.
Yeah. No, that's all you can hope for is so you're on Team Ford, right? So you got it's yourself, it's Zen. Who else is on your team?
I've got Nismo as captain, and then Lalo as my teammate.
Yeah, awesome. So where does everyone fit into the team dynamic? Is Nismo being like full captain? You guys splitting responsibilities? How are you guys splitting up the teamwork?
I'd say Nismo tries to keep us focused.
Okay.
Zen runs a lot of the strats, and then Lalo and I will work together on group 4 because I know the group 3 guys are busy working on their strats, and so trying to have them have split focus, it just doesn't seem like a too great of an idea. I mean, they will run with us.
Yeah.
We will follow their lines. We will try to, I wouldn't say copy, but imitate, learn from them. But yeah, Zen does our strats. Lalo and I, we work together for group 4 for the lines, collect the data that Zen needs, and he does his magic.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Zen and I have never been on a team together. We've always just been competing. So
really,
yeah, we've never been on the same team before. So there's a few of the guys.
Interesting pairing.
Yeah, it would be interesting for sure if we could make that work. I would love to have that opportunity for sure. So we're going to give you the opportunity to kind of just announce the GT4 finishing order from this week. So
yeah,
go ahead and take that.
So this week we had Cam Zill in first place with the fastest lap yet again. Did a real good job.
Damn it.
And then we had Dirksey in second, Hyphy Honda rounding up the podium in third place, myself in fourth. And then we had Huge Jar in fifth, Thrasher in sixth, Lalo with seventh place. Hero Sky was in eighth, which I think is his best finish to date.
Listen, I'm gonna interrupt you for one quick second. Everyone knows that Curious Guy and us are all pretty close. And he never does this. So as soon as that race was over, he hit us up on our group text with the guys and everything. He's like, freaking took 8th place today, dude. I was so happy for him. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
I mean, I know if he put a lot more effort into it, he would get a lot better. But even just showing up every single race that he's supposed to be in, it's proving to work. And freaking Silo, who lives with me, he's like, motherfucking Kira Scott got 8th. And I was so happy for him, man.
Oh, it's so good for him.
Yeah.
Last season, racing in that Tenza, I remember being at Spawn being like, this isn't gonna go well.
Yeah.
Gonna finish last. And he was like, no, you don't get to finish last. That's my responsibility. I'll hold that heavy burden. I always finish last. And I told me you may not always finish last, and it's proven true. There he is in 8th place. So
hey, that was a stellar finish, man. I was so happy for him. I didn't interrupt, but I
no, you're fine.
Disregarded it. So continue.
All right. So last we said was Kuro Sky was in 8th, and then Anatole, listed as Maxwell, was in 9th. Now Divine SL, I'm reading off the race results here. That is Silo, right?
No, that's Devin.
Devin. Okay, so
Yep.
that was in 10th place. Oh, I see Silo. Sorry. Then we've got Doof in 11th, Silo in 12th, Saito in 13th, and then Chaotica bringing up the written safety car.
Yeah, there it is. Now you've driven the safety car for us a handful of times. You've
Yeah.
enjoyed that?
Oh, absolutely. It's been a great experience to get in there with the group 3 guys, pop in the chat, get a little bit of the behind the scenes, try to crack my corny dad jokes at you guys during the safety car lap.
Yeah.
It's a good time. I always enjoy having you guys there. Yeah, glad you guys could join my safety car.
Right, exactly. I mean, we're all following you for 100%. But again, it's a piece of the game that I know is not layered into it at all. We found a way to do it, thankfully to you, and Saito sharing that with you, right?
Yes.
For you guys, just taking the time to do that has been exceptional, because it just adds this realism. And I know sometimes, you're waiting there as anxiously as we are, waiting to see what the safety car is, and you're like, when it comes out at 13, you're like, yes, I can just get out of here. But then you guys hang out and you do your thing, so we appreciate you guys for that, Cam, for recording and all that. So it just makes that realistic thing work for us. So I'll recap the leaderboard, which you haven't even seen yet. So you're about to find
not
out
yet.
where you sit regarding relegation. So Camzilla, obviously in first, still on a clean sweep of fastest laps, sitting at 93 points.
Okay.
Dirksey is in second with 80 points. Preston, third place, right above that green line at 75 points. Huge Jar in fourth at 59 points. Hiffy Honda, not Hiffy, is it? He corrected me on this last week.
How did I say it? Hyphy.
Hyphy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a San Francisco rap thing or something like that out there. Hyphy.
It's very hi-fi of him.
If not, yeah, I think it's hi-fi. Maybe. Oh shoot, I'm so twisted now.
No, I'm messing you up.
Damn it. Anatol's gonna correct me again. I hate it.
Double H finished third.
Yeah. Honda, we'll say, is in fifth with 52. Thrasher with 48 and sixth. Anatol is 4 points behind Thrasher in seventh. We got Sully in 38 points in eighth. Lalo at 28 points in ninth. Saito 24 points in 10th. Devin right on his heels at 23 and 11th. Curious Guy, not at the bottom of the barrel, in 12th with 21. We've got Golden with 17 points in 13th. And then Silo, our anchor, sitting at last place with 14 points. So it was a good race weekend. It was a newer track for us. We've never raced here before with these cars. So, I mean, it was...
how did Group 3 go?
Group 3 went, I will say this, we've had our share of embarrassing moments. Sardinia brings up a great memory of just how chaotic it can get. But I will say, for this track, everyone got in line and everyone stayed close. Like for the first 5 laps, there wasn't a ton of challenging and anything like that. And I think everyone's starting to realize that whole adage of you don't win the race on turn 1 or turn 4. If there's an opportunity that presents itself and someone screws up, yes, you take it. But battling in the beginning just causes chaos. It's best to just get in line and let the pack kind of spread out. If you can keep up with the person in front of you, then so be it. But I mean, for me, if I'm behind, and Boost knows this, and we've never even spoken about it, but if I'm behind Boost, I'm putting pressure on him, but I'm not looking to pass like for the first few laps. I mean, it's just get clean, get away. Because if you start battling, he's going to slow down. I'm going to slow down. People are going to catch up. And then it just starts stacking behind you. And then that's where a lot of the incidents start coming in. But watching the replay, Cam's stream, it was really cool to just watch how everyone just stayed in line. Everyone hit their marks. A couple little snafus here and there, but for the most part, like everyone just, it's a good flowing track. I'm not going to reveal the surprise yet. Again, you guys will get that sooner. But it was a good race. It was a good race. It was interesting because everyone did have severely different strategies. You said it earlier, there's so many different racing lines for this track. And I kind of attack some turns differently than what some people do. Like there's one turn on this track that I do a little differently, which is, what turn was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, going into the big high speed S's where you're trying to, maintain staying on the throttle the whole time. So a lot of people on that first apex kind of shoot out towards the center of the track. I actually hold off just a smidge to make sure I don't have to lift. So so I hug more of the left side of the apex.
So on that first going down into it, at the beginning of it, you hug that left curb then.
I hold on to it just a little bit longer than what most people do. Like most people will go out towards the middle or last 2/3 of the track. I stay into the first third of that track. But that just reassures me that I can make it the whole way without having to lift, regardless of tire. So medium, soft, doesn't matter.
That's something similar I found myself doing in practice, was finding that I like that line more. Let's hold back here. So you can open up and fully apply that throttle going up the hill and get the angle you need instead of overshooting it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you lift midway through that, you lose so much more momentum than holding off just for that split second. There's another corner at Suzuka that's the same way. After you do all those S's, that left-hand turn S going up the last one, I hug to the right a little bit more. I lose pace on whoever's in front of me, but I usually gain on them or almost get to the point of passing them, just in that aspect alone. So it's a little bit different than what it, it's the whole point of racing is what driving line works best for you. But I would say Group 3 was pretty clean. We had so many people that tagged the wall. I tagged the wall in qualifying. My first lap out, I always go just conservative. I put down a solid, just a decent time to put down. Before in practice, I ran a 140 or 137 something. And someone made a comment like, damn it, there goes Junkai again. But I hit the wall going through the Death Chicane in my first lap out, which screwed up the next 2 laps, so it is what it is. But that was the only time I hit it, was in qualifying. I took second on pole. Boost was in front of me. I don't remember who was behind me. But by the time I got to turn 1, I was in like 5th place anyway. I kind of got pushed out to the end, and I almost turned out to be like Cam, like he was in his. But I got back in line, got behind Boost. I was on a better tire than Boost. I went soft, medium. Yeah.
So you also did a 3-stop then on Sunday.
Yeah, and it was a gamble because again, our early safety car, I pit before the safety car, even though it was only 13 laps, and almost everyone, there was a couple of Glovis, I think, pit, but most everyone just went the first stint up until safety car, either pit on lap 11 right before safety or right on the safety car. I did 7 laps on softs, and then I did 6 laps on soft, and I pitted on the safety car lap, which I usually don't do, but I pitted on the safety car lap. And then I knew from lap 13, everybody was going to have to pit at least once. There was no way anyone was making it from lap 15 to lap 35.
Just not possible to fuel.
Right. I mean, it was impossible. So that's why I built in my mediums to be that one stop. And I was nervous about it through the race because Boost was leading the whole time. And it's like, oh, crap. I really hope this pays off. It put me back into traffic, so I ran the 7 laps, got back out on softs, and came out in like 8th or 9th place. So now I'm battling people, which is slowing me down. Go into the pits, same thing. I come out. I mean, so many people pass you in the pits. So I came out in 10th place on mediums, and then just consistency. And that's all I've ever said ever, is like, it's not about fastest lap. Yes, I did get it, but for the most part, it's about being consistent. I mean, I
I
didn't
think
push
this
it.
is humble brag of as a humble brag as you can get. I mean, yes, I did get
I
it.
did get fastest lap, but it wasn't fastest lap of the day by any means. Like, Boost clearly got, pull for all that and whatnot. But again, I err on the side of caution, and because the big mistakes hurt, they wreck your race, essentially, So if I lose 5/10, 3/10 going through the Death Chicane, but I get in and out of it, so be it,
Yeah.
So
Better than 30 seconds and some suspension damage.
yeah, no, I know. That sucks. Freaking Silo, he hit the wall so hard. He could barely breathe. He was laughing so hard. And I look over and it's like every panel on that car that could be blinking red was blinking red. He's like, "How did I damage the roof?" I was like, "Dude, I have no idea how you did that." But yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah.
It finally worked out because Boost had to pit twice after the safety car, and
Okay.
I pit once. He saved his softs for the end. I was hoping he would do that because the softs did not last long, as we know. So
Yeah, they drop off then.
they drop off really quick. So I knew the mediums would just be the better tire lengthwise, just for being able to hold on to them longer. So it worked out.
But was there any time during that strategy that you were doubting yourself? Like, maybe I should change. Maybe I should go for something else.
As soon as we started, because me and Chaotica were talking about the strategy. He put together 2-stop race strategy, and like I went to bed Saturday night, like just laying in bed. I'm like, I don't want to do 2 pits, like, because every time I try and do like I don't want to call it a reserved, but where I have to pay attention to fuel, where I have to pay attention to tires. And Chaotica was getting 9 laps on softs. I was only getting 6.5 to 7. And he's like, "You need to figure out how to slow the hell down or to figure something else out." And I was like, "Dude, that's not my race." You know what I mean? So I went to bed that night and I'm just like, what do I want to do? So I woke up Sunday morning and I'm just making breakfast, just thinking about it. And I was like, let me just put a strategy together that would be mine and see where it kind of lands with Chaotica. I sent it to him. I was like, "Hey, you see any flaws with this?" He was like, "No, I don't see anything crazy." When it popped up, lap 13, I looked at my strategy. Obviously, I don't have it memorized. So I look at my strategy and I was like, 2 softs before safety car? I was like, what the hell was I thinking? And I'm like, and I do that every race. And it's like, all right, let's see how it goes. And so I mean, I went with it. And for me, for this race specifically, I told Chaotica, I was like, I want to finish on medium tires. The softs are not going to last. I want to finish on medium tires. And there was one lap, I was 3/10 off on mediums than my softs. I was 3/10 slower on my mediums than softs for one lap.
I saw some of that in Group 4 as well, driving the Mustang. The pre-race testing, you go through and do a stint of softs, be like, "Man, I'm fast."
Yeah.
And then you put on the hards, and after maybe 5 laps, you get them broken in, used to where you need to brake at, and all of a sudden you're almost just as fast.
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
Yeah. No, it's weird how it works that way, but it is true that once they get warmed up, once you start to get the feel for the car, where it's biting and everything, like you really can put some better times together. And I've had it before. Like I've pulled the same time on hards that I have with softs, and I was like, I'm doing something wrong. I'm clearly doing something wrong. So let me jump into leaderboard real quick. So
Absolutely.
I took first. Boost took second this week. Floody with his second podium. There was an issue with that whole Floody Besso thing. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't. The only thing I know about is they were passing each other, but I don't know if there was team orders going on or if they were fighting.
No, they were not fighting or anything like that. But and Floody's gonna hate that I bring this up, and Besso too. But Mark's not controlling the show today. But we were coming to the end of the race, and Besso and Floody were 3 and 4. Besso ahead of Floody. Myself and Boost had already made it across, so we were good doing 35 laps. And I think Floody made a comment like, you better slow down or you're gonna have to do another lap. And they were watching their fuel pretty close. Besso slowed down and Floody blew by him and took the position. And then and Besso's like, dude, what is going on? And Floody was like, yeah, I got third. And then he's like, oh crap. And he felt, I mean, he legitimately felt horrible about it after the fact. To the point, like it was me, Floody, and Glove is still on PSN chat. And he's like begging, he's like, can you guys swap positions? He's like, that was inappropriate for me to do. I did not mean to do that. I was just in the moment. And I was like, look, dude, it is what it is. I mean, finishing order is finishing order. But yeah, there was a little conversation back and forth with that. So, but
That's pretty great.
yeah, but getting back to it. So Floody was in third, Besso in fourth, like I said, Chaotica in fifth, Glovis in sixth, Tex in seventh, Nismo eighth, Zod, our new driver. We're not talking about what Zod stands for. Go to Discord if you want to figure out that.
Welcome.
Appropriate for this podcast. But he did really well for his first race. He stayed tight with everybody. He had some good comments afterwards. He's like, that was intense, which was good. So Zen
and in the super
10th.
Nonetheless.
What's that?
As in the super nonetheless too.
Yeah, no, exactly. Poor Zen took 10th. I say poor Zen because he destroyed the wall. The Death Chicane just destroyed him. He was like running second or third and pretty much wrecked the rest of his race. And it was unfortunate to see. Merck being sick, took 11th. Bad Rock in the Audi, I'm sorry, in 12th. And Zanchin, he lost connection during the race.
Oh,
yeah, he lost connection during the race. About halfway through, we saw it pop up. Can't communicate or whatnot. And yeah, so
always the worst. Oh, I hate for a race to end like that.
Our first Sunday Cup season, I lost the season because of a disconnect issue.
Oh,
yeah. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Zen, who did win it, but we were at Autopolis. I was running in first, and that's all I needed was one first place win. And I lost connection. And then I got a new internet service after that. I said, screw that shit. Team points. So,
let's hear them.
Yeah, team points this week. So Team Lexus is still in first with 233 overall points, 46 points on the weekend. Team VW in second. I mean, they're still doing stellar. They're at 200 points. Team Ford, you guys are in third at 157 points.
All right.
Team AMG at 142. Team Toyota at 110. They were missing a guy this week. Team Genesis at 99. And the Audi boys at 91. So
it's not exactly close with Lexus and everyone else. I mean, I don't know. Is there a chance for second place to come back? Or
if we had quite a few people miss, there's 33 points seems like a lot, but I mean, the last three races, Team VW has scored 46, 45, and 45. So if something crazy happens and say we only score 20 points, it can happen. I mean, we've finished in those areas before previous seasons. So
that's fair. So it really isn't over yet.
No, it's
over.
Right. In the beginning, it looked like a runaway race. It did, because we were scoring 49, 46, 45. And then VW got their wings and started catching up. So I'm not saying I feel comfortable as I would like to. We'll say that.
Yeah. Well, the Lexus has a good top end, both in Group 3 and Group 4. No. Okay.
No.
Did you win
Lexus,
Daytona?
Well, so at Daytona, I think I talked about this on the podcast. Actually, I stayed behind anybody I possibly could.
That's
I
right.
stayed behind Boat. I stayed behind Nismo as long as I possibly could. I was not getting out of slipstream. I didn't care if I was faster in the infield because I was, and most of it just because of the car. But I was not getting on the straight by myself if I did not have to. And
Okay.
yeah. So, and that's, I mean, that's just additional strategy kind of going into it. Same thing with Grand Valley, and really even Deep Forest was the same way. Like I stayed behind whoever I could to make sure that I could stay on that straight and not lose significant amount of time. Um, so, matter of fact, I even accredited Nismo for my fastest lap at Deep Forest because I was in a slipstream when I got it.
Just
But
playing that patient game.
right, and I mean, there were opportunities I could have passed them. And actually, if you go back and watch the replay, like there was a good opportunity. I lifted altogether. I slowed down substantially just to keep him out front.
Yeah.
And it's just a part. Again, it's a long race. It's not a short race. So, um, but yeah, no, it was good stuff, man. It was good stuff. So, anything else you got? Anything else? You got any questions? Anything you'd like to see new in the Discord or
Well, I actually thought of something because we
mhm.
kind of broke the format tonight and went group 4 to group 3. It reminded me of something. I've been meaning to ask you. Is there a reason why group 3 goes before group 4? I mean, in say, let's say Formula One,
Mhm.
F1 doesn't race before F2. You
Yeah.
group 3 drivers supposed to be the cream of the crop.
Yeah. So the reason for it is we've always ran at 11 a.m.
Okay.
Eastern Standard Time. When we got that large influx of drivers, yourself included, we built out that GT3 Sport League just as
Okay.
honestly, it was a replica on our first season, pretty much, of what we were doing. It was the quickest way to kind of pump something out quick. And we kept GT3, the original drivers, in 11 a.m. And since most of our original drivers are still in GT3, as a courteousness to them, because we've planned so much around the racing that we kept it at 11 a.m. for the GT3 race. That's pretty much what it came down to.
And bringing this up does not mean that I want to race at 10 a.m. Eastern as a Group 4 driver. Please, no. I like the time to be able to prepare for my race.
Yeah.
Not complaining about my race start time. I was just curious to know why it was done that way.
Yeah, that was the whole purpose, because I mean the whole league's just really evolved into what it is today. I mean, we started off with just Sunday Cup. That's all we used to have was Sunday Cup. That was it. Nothing more than that. And then we were like, all right, let's do a GT3 league, see how it goes. And I mean, and we just kind of expanded from there. And then we got, all these other ones. So it's been good, but that's really why we've stuck with that time for so long, because it's just been the benchmark that we've just lived by for so long. So one last question before we kind of wrap this up. How do you feel about the relegation promotion line? I mean, I know you're on the top side of that for now, but
I am interested in it. I think we need to see it play out first, see how it will work. Right now, do we still have full rosters in Group 4 and Group 3?
no, we are missing. Well, we do have a full roster in Group 3 and Group 4. Yes, now.
Okay.
With Zod coming in, he's in Group 3. So yes, we are full.
So we'll get a because I was wondering if we were missing a driver, how it was going to work for the promotion relegation race. But if we got a full roster, then it's going to be fine. I think it'd be interesting to see that race in action. I look forward to the live stewards. Hopefully, we'll actually get the live commentary that's been teased about by Zen and Floody.
It's happening. I don't give a shit if I have to drive to their house and make it happen. It's happening. They've committed to it.
All these extra details they add to the immersion of the league.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who I was talking to about it. It might have been Glovis, but you really do get all the drama of a real racing season within our Discord, and all the different things that happen, drivers leaving, coming, going, disconnects here, broken strats there. You get all that drama and get to be involved with it too. So this promotion relegation race, I'm excited for it. I hope I make it. I hope we keep it in third, and I'd love to give a shot at the GT3 drivers to show them, not just what I'm made of, but whoever finishes alongside me in Group 4.
Yeah. So right now you've got 3 cars to choose from as it stands today. Obviously that can change. But right now it's looking like either Toyota, the Audi, which I don't think anyone's going to touch, and the Genesis. So
Do the Group 3 drivers who were in that race get a free choice, or do they have to race with their manufacturers?
they get to choose any car too.
Okay, so the Audi will be sitting out that day.
Yeah, 100%.
I would say if Bad Rock was forcing the Audi, it's the only thing I could do. He's my first rival, is race the Audi with him. But now, if he gets to get out of it, then I'm not stepping into it.
Yeah, he gets to get out of it, and I respect the camaraderie between you two when it comes to that stuff. But no, he gets to jump out of it if he lands there. But right now he's sitting above relegation line. I know he's
I believe in you, Bad Rock.
Yeah. So we're excited for it. So if you had to choose today, which car would you jump in? Audi, Genesis, or Toyota?
I think I jump in the Genesis.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be my gut instinct.
Yeah.
Would be to jump into that one. I mean, it is Spain. The straights are there, but they're not as dramatic as some other tracks. So the Audi was seen to be strong at some of these other tracks. Maybe it could be strong there. I haven't tested just yet.
Yeah, just avoid the curbs if you're going the Audi. That's all I said.
If I start testing, then I put expectations on myself to finish above that line. And right now I'm just trying to play it out. And if I got to prep just a week before the race, then so be it.
So be it. Awesome, man. Well, Preston, anything else we can do for you?
I just want to give a quick reminder to everybody who watches this. We've got Fun Night coming up here.
Oh yeah.
The more the merrier. Chicane Mercury, if you guys can make it, we'll always be glad to have you out there. But it's always a good, silly, just fun time. I think right now we're voting in the polls on Wreckfest or Gran Turismo. Just the bigger the better, the more the merrier.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm hoping I can make it, but right now I have a skid steer rented to do some dramatic grading of my yard, and I've got 24 hours to do it in. So I'm going to take advantage of every penny of that piece of machinery that I can, and I'm renting it on Friday. So we'll see.
Let's get an edit from the 24 TV show of you having the tool rented out. Dink, dink. So
yeah, I'm gonna damage some stuff, and then I'm gonna make the foolish, stupid mistake of letting Silo drive it at some point. I know, which is not gonna be good. But well, Preston, I appreciate everything you've brought to the league. We love your competitive spirit. Your driving, your racing, your pit crew. We all appreciate you for it. We'll have you on here again soon. Again, props on the beard. I'm jealous as all hell. So
thanks, man.
It's been good.
Yeah, blast being on the podcast. Thank you for having me. Happy to represent Group 4 on here. We don't get much of that representation, so just glad to be here today.
Absolutely, man. Well, we hope Mercury starts to feel better. And again, man, it was good to have you here. So we appreciate that. And you guys all have a good rest of your week. Thanks.